How's it going, YouTube, and welcome back to some more Pokerogue. We are continuing the run that we have uploaded over the last two videos, so if you haven't seen those videos, I'd highly recommend watching them and then coming back to this particular one, just so you can keep up to date as to where we are with this run whilst we are moving through the floors. Now, with this run, I feel like it's probably one of our better runs so far, but I did say that about our previous run, and Team Aqua decided that they were going to ruin that for me. But we have ran into Team Magma so far in this run, so I'm hoping that we have a better overall experience with getting through them, because we've got some better Pokemon to deal with them. So we're not actually going to swap out from Unpheasant here. We are just going to go ahead and try and use it in terms of fighting this Beware. Okay, the Beware didn't go ahead and avoid that air cutter or our gust, which is nice. Unfortunately, Unpheasant does go down, but I'm very tempted, and never mind, I was about to say I'm tempted to capture that Beware, but we didn't have to worry about that, so we will send out Pokerogue just so we have a Pokemon in the active slot. We do have a free revive here, but I feel like the Ultra Ball is going to be our better option. We're getting money from Comi after every battle anyway, so we are going to go ahead and revive our Unpheasant. And we are going to then go ahead and Super Potion, putting us down to 7,336 in terms of the monetary value. But we are going to grab the Ultra Balls here. With Scraggy, it is Dark and Fighting. So obviously Dark is weak against Fighting, so we can keep out our Pokerogue here. And I think we're going to go with Drain Punch against the Scraggy. One hit KO that, get it out the way, and keep moving. Comi is now level 32, which is nice to see. Furfrou has also leveled up as well. However, I do feel like Furfrou might be something that we get rid of eventually, but Retaliate is a nice move. It can get revenge for fainted allies, so that's not too bad. If we have something that faints on us, we can just go ahead and use Furfrou to essentially retaliate against the Pokemon that does knock anything out in any sort of battles we come up against. Super XP Charm is definitely what we're taking here. We have Hariyama, which will be going into our Unpheasant, and we'll go ahead with an Air Cutter or two. I do want to try and catch this if possible, because it will be a nice fighting type Pokemon to have in our arsenal. So I'm going to throw an Ultra Ball, and we do go ahead and catch the excuse me, I can't speak right now. The Hariyama. Unfortunately, the speed on this is very bad, but it is another Pokemon that we have to add to our collection. And our Unpheasant does go up to 37 there. It does want to learn Detect, which I think is going to be helpful to keep it alive. So we're going to take that over Leah for sure. At least that way we can detect moves, at least for one turn, keep it alive for a little bit longer, and kind of go from there. The downside of having Unpheasant is it is part normal, so it is going to be affected by the fighting type Pokemon we come up against on this particular stage. A little bit more than we would like it to be, but it's also going to be quite effective against them as well, considering it is a flying type and it is strong against fighting. So there is pluses and drawbacks in terms of using this Pokemon right now. I don't think we're going to use Entrainment. Yeah, we're not going to use Entrainment. As I said in the previous video, our Pokemon's attacks are very handy for us. Excuse me. We are going to go ahead and grab another Super Potion for our Unpheasant here. But I think we are then going to go ahead and grab a Rare Candy, and we'll slot that onto our Nidorina. As I said, we're trying to get Nidorina up to Nidoqueen as quickly as we possibly can. Meditate goes down straight away to an Air Cutter. That is a very nice knockout for us there. So from these, do I want to take an X attack here? I think X attack's definitely going to be the way forward, especially now we're coming into Ivy. I did actually forget that Ivy was on 455. That is my own personal fault. But we do have Incineroar, which is obviously fire and also dark. Now, Dark is weak against fighting, but I'm wondering if we keep Unpheasant out and just go ahead with a Detect to start off with, just to protect against the first attack that comes through from the Incineroar. And then we will go ahead and Air Cutter. It's not going to be very effective, unfortunately, but with Unpheasant we might go into our Furfrou here because it is going to be knocked out, and we can go in with a Retaliate, which doesn't actually do that much damage for us, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it is our best move to use right now because the Bite is not going to be that effective against Incineroar, and we do get through Incineroar, which is a big plus for us, especially for Furfrou, because it does gain a lot of XP. It wants to learn the move Takedown, which I think I'm going to take on this Pokemon, especially now with Retaliate. We might start using this Pokemon a little bit more. Obviously the power is 90, accuracy of 85. I do think we are going to take off the baby doll eyes. I think that's the best move to go ahead and forget. Charm I don't think I'm going to use. Even though it is a fairy type move, it's not got any sort of obviously attacking benefits for us. It does lower attack like value in terms of the enemy Pokemon, but I think I want to keep Sand Attack so I can go ahead and lower accuracy over everything else. But Nidorina wants to learn Bite. I think we will have a look at this at least. So do we want to take Super Fang off? We don't really want to take Super Fang off because it will, regardless of the Pokemon, chop it down to half HP. So I think I'm not going to learn Bite here. And that might be the wrong decision. Fling isn't implemented in the game, so we are just going to leave that. Combee is now level 35 and Pawmot is level 40. Lovely stuff. So next is a Toucannon, normal and flying. So we don't want to lose too many Pokemon here. Flying and normal, obviously flying's really effective against fighting, but our Pawmot is actually electric as its first typing. Beak Blast is used, which is not ideal for us. But we are going to Drain Punch, which gives us a decent chunk of health back for our Pawmot. But it might go down here anyway. No, okay, never mind. I thought the Toucan was going to be able to get an attack out prior to us there. But we do get through Ivy's second Pokemon. So we've got two more Pokemon left to get through. One is a Comfy, which is weak against Poison Steel. So we do have a Nidoran for this. I am going to go ahead and Drain Punch if I can. It's not very effective, but it does keep us in this fight a little bit longer with Pawmot, and we are going to go ahead and Dig to try and get rid of the potential of being hit by an attack there, meaning that Pawmot does come out victorious against Ivy's third Pokemon. So we've got one Pokemon left to go in terms of this fight, so hopefully we can get through this fairly easily. It's an electric type, which is weak against ground, so we're just going to go ahead and Dig, meaning the Electabuzz is going to go ahead and miss, and we are going to get through Ivy fairly easily in that particular instance. So I'm not too disheartened that our flying type Pokemon did go down. We do actually have close combat now, which is going to be worth thinking about. User fights a target up close without guarding itself. This also lowers the user's defense and special defense stats. Not ideal in terms of lowering defense and special defense, but I think this will be something that's worth taking, but I don't know what I want to take it over. Drain Punch has been quite good for us, but I feel like that might be the thing to go, because close combat is definitely going to be a little bit more beneficial for us, I feel, in terms of the longevity of this run. So we are going to take close combat instead of Drain Punch. Furfrou wants to learn Sucker Punch. Ooh, that I think would be a good move to take. It is another Dark type move, but it is a better Dark type move than what we have. But Bite does have more PP, which will be more ideal. I think Takedown is going to be the one, even though we practically just learnt that. Takedown is definitely going to be where we kind of lose too much HP on the Furfrou. So we are going to go ahead and get rid of that. So the revive is 1,700, which still allows us to have a decent amount of money. Plus, obviously, we're going to go with a few super potions here. So we are going to revive even the unpheasant. And then we are just going to go ahead and super potion a couple of things here, just so we have a decent amount of HP on our Pokemon. And then I think we will take a Lumberry and we are going to slap that onto Pawmot because it is our kind of main Pokemon right now. We are going to switch out into the Unpheasant here, and we're going to go for an Air Cutter against the Mainfu, I believe is how you pronounce that Pokemon's name, just so we can get through that particular floor as quickly as possible. I can't remember when Nidorina actually evolves. It might be at level 40 to Nidoqueen. I could be wrong. Icy Wind. Ooh, Icy Wind might be worth taking here. Let's see what can learn Icy Wind. So we could give it on Linoon just to give it a better chance at actually being useful in a fight for us. So we'll take that over. I'm kind of tempted to take it over something like Slash, because Covert allows us to potentially steal items. Takedown's probably the best move we have at the moment. Slash is fairly good, but it's not as good as the other bits we have. So we're going to take away Slash and we're going to put on Icy Wind, just so that Pokemon's going to be a little bit better for ourselves. So we have a Clobopus, which I've actually never seen before. This is probably a Pokemon that is in one of the generations that I haven't played enough of right now. But we are going to catch it, meaning it has been added to added as a starter, should I say, for us. The IVs there are pretty terrible. I'm not going to lie. Like, the speed's very low. Same with special defense and attack. Special defense, special attack, should I say. The attack could be a little bit higher, but the defense and max HP aren't too bad. So if we can continue to gain that Pokemon and add to its IVs, I think we'll be in a good spot to use it in the future. But for now, we will just take it as a Pokemon to add to the collection. We're going to grab an egg voucher here. We're not going to swap out for the Mainfu. Again, this is a Pokemon we haven't caught yet, so we could go ahead and try and catch this. But I am just going to Air Cutter to get rid of it, to get closer to the boss for this particular stage. Unpheasant is doing a lot of work for us in this particular area, which is really nice to see. We do have a PP up, which we could potentially add to something like the Unpheasant, because it has kind of turned into our second Pokemon, at least for this particular floor. But I think I'm actually going to put it on Nidorina. I don't know what I just put it on, because I only just remembered it's not something we can add as a item to hold. But this Toxicroak is definitely something I want to grab. So I think we're going to Gust and hope we don't knock out the... I also hope it doesn't knock out the Unpheasant. That wouldn't be ideal. Okay, never mind. Unpheasant goes down. We're going to have to probably revive that for the boss Pokemon here. But we're going to send out the Pawmot just in case this Toxicroak doesn't stay in the ball for us. We are going to throw an Ultra Ball just to be on the safe side. We do get Toxicroak with actually not too bad IVs. The speed could be a little bit better as per 90% of the Pokemon we are capturing right now, but everything else looks okay for the Croak. The Croago's been added, but obviously we just caught a Toxicroak. Do we want to swap this into the team? And if so, what do we swap it for? The only thing potentially would be like the Furfrou, but then we've already got fighting and poison kind of sorted in Pawmot and Nidorina. Obviously Nidorina we want to get to Nidoqueen. I mean, like, the Combee probably going to become irrelevant at some point for us, and we're not using that in any fights. I think we get rid of Combee now. I think Combee's going to be the one that we get rid of, and we'll put in the Toxicroak, just because I feel like that's going to be the better option for us in the long run. And I was wrong about Nidorina evolving at level 40, because we've just reached level 40 on it and it hasn't evolved unless it's waiting until the end of all of this. We are going to not teach Flail. Poison Jab's not a bad move, to be fair, with the poison-based Pokemon we have. We will go ahead and just do our usual Super Potion and Revives here. And we are going to take Poison Jab. Toxicroak already has it. Nidorina can learn it. Actually, it's 100 powers, 80. Could also poison. I think we're going to teach this to Nidorina. We will go ahead and swap something out. So Toxic Spikes are only really going to be good against trainer fights, and 90% of the time we're going to be coming up against single or double Pokemon. So I think Toxic Spikes is going to be the one that goes, and we will learn Poison Jab. Oh, we have a Lucario. This could be insanely good to have. We are going to swap our Pokemon out for the Unpheasant here. And we're going to Air Cutter straight off the rip. That's not an ideal start though. That is not a great start. We are going to Detect, just to make sure that we can survive another Aquasphere, Aura Sphere even, but we do end up losing that Pokemon. Not ideal, but we will send out our Pawmot here. Obviously, with it being Steel, it is weak to fighting. Wasn't trying to knock out there. Didn't expect it to die off the back of Pawmot going in with close combat. Unfortunately, the Lucario does die off of close combat. I would have loved to have caught that Pokemon. Like, would have absolutely loved to catch that Pokemon. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, we do end up knocking it out. But regardless, it is what it is. We have a few eggs here that are hatching for us. So first off, we have a Chubchoo. IVs aren't amazing, but speed's pretty good on the Chubchoo. And we do have Triple Axle as a egg move for the Chubchoo. Next egg is gonna be a Anorith with fairly good IVs all round, to be fair. The attack's obviously the lowest, but everything else is pretty nice there. And Dragon Dance isn't too bad to have as a egg move. And the next egg is a Yanma. Not as good at IVs here on the Yanma. Obviously, max HP is quite low. Everything else is alright though, so it's not terrible. It's not a terrible Pokemon. And we do have Heat Wave as the egg move. We do have another XP charm. And everything has now been healed. So that is a good sign for us. Unfortunately, we are back to the plains. Excuse me. So we have a fire and flying type here. So electric moves are are good here. So we are going to go ahead and Spark just to knock out Talonflame. Obviously, if we don't knock out there, we could be in a bit of trouble with Pawmot due to the flying type moves being super effective against the Pawmot, but we do get through that particular floor fairly swiftly. And all of our Pokemon are gaining levels off the back of that as well, which is lovely to see. So right here, I think our best bet, we've still got a decent amount of Pokeballs, so I think our best bet is to take the Nugget for a boost in money, and we come up against another Magma Grunt, who has 3 Pokemon for us to get through. Donphan is the first, so we are going to go ahead and Ice Punch into the Donphan. And we'll Ice Punch again because we are quicker, meaning that we can knock out the Donphan fairly swiftly. Pawmot does go up to level 50 and wants to learn Discharge. Do we give this Pokemon Discharge? We do over Spark. It's a little bit of a better move overall for us. Obviously, it's not great in double battles, but regardless, it is still a fairly nice move to have. I can't remember if Nidoran needs something to evolve or whether it just evolves into Nidoqueen. Like, my brain's now being like, oh, it's gonna be something that, like, you need a certain item, but I cannot remember. We might have to sack Pawmot here, unfortunately. No, okay. We one-hit the Vibrava, so we do manage to get a couple more levels on Pawmot. Nidorina even is now at 43. Can learn Helping Hand, but that's only really beneficial in double battles if my memory serves, so we're not going to worry too much about learning that. Air Slash and Unpheasant will be huge if I'm thinking of the right move. So I think we get rid of Gust here for the Air Slash. So we're getting some very nice moves in terms of flying type moves for our Unpheasant. And the final Pokemon is the Linoon, which we are going to close combat to knock out and get through Team Magma without any issues. Now, if this run is going to be anything like the previous run we did where we ran into back-to-back Team Aquas, or I think it was like Team Aqua, Pokemon Team Aqua, we might have the same thing pop up in this particular instance as well. Do we want to learn Belly Drum? User maximizes attack stat in exchange for HP. I am not going to be teaching Linoon that. He is more of a pickup one than he is anything else for us right now. So we are just going to leave him be. I haven't really been seeing anything down the bottom. What actual moves do I have on Toxicroak? Psycho Punch, Swagger, Flatter, Poison Jab, and now Nasty Plot. I think we take Nasty Plot over Flatter personally. I know that it's not a move that we can actually use in terms of dealing damage, but it is a move that we can use if we so desire, a bit like Detect, in order to go ahead and keep things moving. So we are going to go ahead and heal the Pawmot a couple of times here, because the HP on all of our Pokemon now is actually quite big. Oink. This Pokemon is the evolution, and I cannot remember for the life of me what the Pokemon is called. I think it's Lechonk. But we are going to go ahead and close combat this with the only fighting type move that Pawmot has, but it does mean that we get through 63 fairly swiftly. We are not going to worry about agility. All of the moves I have on Pawmot right now I'm very happy with. Obviously we swapped out one fighting move for another, but everything else I'm fairly happy about. What is Cotton Guard? What does this do? So it's a grass type move. The user protects itself by wrapping its body in soft cotton, which drastically raises its defensive stats. Do we want to take this? Probably not. I think we're happy with the moves we have for the moment. Toxicroak is now 43, and we are through to the next level. We are going to take the Nugget for a bit more money, and it is much like the battle we had against Team Aqua, where it went Aqua, Pokemon Aqua. We are once again against a Magma Grunt that sends out a Magma. So this is purely fire type, so we are going to go ahead and use Dig against the Magma. Obviously we don't get hit by the Lava Plume, and we do knock out Magma with one hit there with Dig, so we will take that lovely jubbly. All of our Pokemon are gaining levels, which is always nice to see. Unfortunately Pawmot is now burnt. Oh, Turnitor is such a nice Pokemon, bro. If we saw this Pokemon as a wild Pokemon, we are going to catch that 100%. But we'll go ahead and hit the Dig once again into the Turnitor, meaning that we can knock that out fairly swiftly. And our Pawmot is 56. All of our other Pokemon are gaining levels as well. The main one I really want to gain levels is obviously our Nidorina, so we can get into Nidoqueen fairly quickly. Final Pokemon here is a Mightyena, which is dark, so we can just go in with a close combat to get through the stage that we lost in the final, the stage that we lost in our most recent run before the most recent episodes, like 3 episodes that have recently gone up. So I am very happy about getting through that stage. And all of our Pokemon are doing fairly well in terms of getting everything sorted level-wise, and also the item-wise. And so Big Nugget is so nice to have here, because we can full heal onto the Pawmot. We can go ahead and potion a couple of times as well, and then we'll just take the Big Nugget, allowing us to gain most of that money back. So we are not going to swap out of our Pawmot against Persian, but we've only got, after this, one more close combat to use. So once this particular next battle is out the way, if it is a normal type, we will not have any further usage of the PP on close combat. So we'll have to use probably a different move or something else to try and get through the next few levels, because we are back on plains, meaning that a lot of the Pokemon that we come up against will be obviously normal type, but we have another Magma grunt battle, this time with 5 Pokemon. So Torkoal is the first one out, and we are going to dig once again to go ahead and hit the Torkoal. Flamethrower doesn't do that much damage to us, thankfully, and we can once again hit a dig to knock out Torkoal here. So next Pokemon up, I would imagine is going to be another fire type, but we could be wrong there. Reckless life-risking tackle, which the user rushes to target it. This also damages the user quite a lot. I mean, Linoone could be one of those Pokemon. We're going to go ahead and take it over takedown, but it could be one of those Pokemon that we can just throw out and be like, you know what, just go and try and get a knockout here. I don't mind if I sacrifice you. Obviously, it is a pickup mon, but it is what it is. So we have a ground type Pokemon here, so we can go ahead and Ice Punch. Hopefully, I was about to say, hopefully we don't die, but unfortunately we do. But I know that Nidorina does have some fighting moves, but I'm pretty sure Toxicroak also has some fighting moves. In fact, he doesn't have any fighting moves. Maybe I was thinking of something else. We are going to go ahead and Sucker Punch though, and we will do exactly the same again to knock the Sandaconda out, meaning Toxicroak is now at level 50, which is huge because we have Sludge Bomb available here, which we will go ahead and put in over Swagger. Ideally, I want to try and ensure that we don't lose too many Pokemon in this battle, but it is what it is if we do. So we have Toxic, which definitely damages and is decent at keeping that poison damage even. But I kind of want to keep Sandsear Storm, so I think we get rid of Super Fang. Even though it always cuts to half HP, Toxic is just too good to turn down, so we will take the Toxic here. All of our Pokemon are doing very well in levels, which is lovely to see. So we do have a ground type Pokemon here. Obviously Ice, Grass and Water is the best way to go. But I'm going to go ahead and Sludge Bomb. Unfortunately, Dugtrio does know Dig, which means it's going to be able to kind of dig away from a lot of the moves that we're going to throw out here. So what do we want to send out? I'm just trying to remember what has certain moves. We have obviously a ground type that we're fighting against here. Do we send out Nidorina? I'm not sure. I can't remember what moves each Pokemon has, but I am going to send out Nidorina for now. And we will go ahead and hit a Toxic, which obviously does poison, and then we will come in with probably a poison jab. Okay, so the dig comes back out from the Dugtrio. We're just going to press poison jab again. It's going to knock out our Nidorina. This dig is going to be really annoying. I'm kind of hoping that we can knock out this Dugtrio, which we can. Lovely. That Toxic Poison is very handy to have right there. Unpheasant does grow to level 51 and wants to learn Roost. Roost leaves the lands and rests its body. Restores a user's HP by up to half of its max. I mean, it's not bad. We could get rid of Quick Attack for it, so I think we're going to do exactly that. We are losing a few too many Pokemon here though. Ice and ground. So Firefighting, Rock, Steel. And then obviously against the ground side of things, Grass, Ice and Water. I think we're just going to have to detect to start with. Ice Fang does come out. We are fairly lucky to get past that. We are going to go ahead and air slash, which obviously means... Oh, we got a few flinches. Got a few flinches out of Unfezant. That is nice to see. We will go into Fur Throw here, and we are going to hit Retaliate. Unfortunately, it does come into a Don Fan, which isn't ideal, which is ground type, but I am going to go ahead and hit Bites. Fur Throw might be able to stay in for a fair amount here. And we do go ahead and Sucker Punch the Don Fan to get through the Don Fan. So we've got one more Pokemon to go. The downside is we are losing Pokemon at a rapid rate. And we are down to our final Pokemon, but it is Linoone. And we are going to go ahead and hit Covert here just to finish off the Mamoswine. That was a rough battle. We lost quite a few Pokemon. We could have probably played that a little bit better. But we do have quite a few berries here on Linoone that we can kind of go ahead and shift onto different Pokemon. Max Revive is so nice to see. We're going to chuck that on Unfezant, just so we can swap the Unfezant in here against the Primeape. Obviously, we will Air Slash against Primeape here. No, we will not Air Slash against Primeape, because we missed. There we go. And then we'll Air Cutter, getting through the Primeape there. So, this is now going to be the time where we're going to go ahead and make sure. So we got a Max Revive, but the Candy Jar is so nice here. I think we definitely want to revive the Pawmot, and we also want to revive Nidoran for sure. We will Super Potion Pawmot and Super Potion Nidoran, as well as an Unfezant, and we cannot turn away the Candy Jar here. So, Unfezant, you can probably stay in, but I will swap into the Pawmot here. So Pawmot is going to be quite handy, I feel like. We'll throw that there, and then we'll close combat here, knocking out Bibarel, and then we should hopefully be able to go ahead and hit an Air Slash and something like a Discharge. I didn't want to do Discharge. I completely forgot that that will knock out the Unfezant, but regardless, we got through that double battle. That is the main thing we want to take away from that particular fight. Obviously, we'll send out another Pokemon because this game tells us to do so, and we do have a free revive, which is massive here. That can go straight onto the Unfezant. We are going to swap our Pokemon, but we're going to swap into Pawmot here because it is a normal type. We don't have any, obviously, fighting moves left, so we are going to go ahead and Discharge into the Oinkledge. We'll Discharge again. I'm kind of tempted now, especially with Pawmot asleep, to send an Ultra Ball out, just to see if we can get better IVs. So the max HP attack and the special defense do go up by catching the Oinkledge, so that is lovely for us. We aren't going to add it to the team, and we will see what we get here. So the full heal is going to put us down to 3,000, but I want to wake the Pawmot up without like taking damage essentially, and then we do get a free Super Potion, which I'm actually going to chuck onto the Pawmot, I think. And then we do have another Oinkledge that comes out here. We're not going to swap Pokemon because we can just go ahead and dig to get out of the way of any sort of attack coming in from the Oinkledge. But once again, I'm very tempted just to throw a Pokeball at this Pokemon and see if we have any better IV luck. Because obviously this is the boss, meaning that that Pawmot will come back for us. And that recoil is probably going to help us in terms of getting a capture off here. That's not ideal. Okay, we don't necessarily want to risk too many more Pokemon here though. So the Ultra Ball is going to be the one that we do take. We do actually, get some more buffs to our IVs in terms of max HP attack and special defense. So we will go ahead and take that, but we're not adding in the Oinkledge to our team. Nidorina is now up to level 53 and Lanoon is 56. We get another XP charm. So where do we want to go here? So the lake is fine because we can discharge. I think we go to the lake because we don't have any water type Pokemon. And our Pawmot will be very handy against water type Pokemon. So we are going to go ahead and jump into the lake here. We are going to switch Pokemon and we are going to go into Pawmot. So the Gold Duck, do I want this? I'm going to discharge. Okay, so we do have an option here of potentially capturing this Gold Duck as long as it stays in the Great Ball. It does. Lovely. So Zen Headbutt, Confusion, Hydro Pump, Aqua Tail, all great moves. The IVs aren't amazing though. That's the only downside of this Pokemon. Like, the IVs are so bad. So I'm not actually going to go ahead and put that into our party. As much as I'd love to be like, oh yeah, we'll put it into our party because it's a water type Pokemon, I want to have reasonable IVs for this run. And with us going into Team Magma quite a bit, I feel like it's definitely worth us. We use our normal potion here, but it's definitely worth us going ahead and trying to get a decent water type Pokemon. We have Fisherman Luck or Luke or however you want to say his name against us here. Discharge into the Seadra is definitely the play for sure. Go ahead and raise our Pawmot's levels a fair bit. So I'm going to probably end this video at around the 75th floor. I've just noticed we have been going for about 36 minutes and we are going to try and keep these episodes between 30 and 45. So we will go up to floor 75 in this particular episode. But this is definitely our best run on this game so far. Level 72 is huge. Getting through the floor with all of the Team Magma guys, or the Magma grunts should I say, was absolutely incredible. Ooh, double shock. Do we want this move? The user discharges all the electricity from a body to perform a high damage attack. After using this move, the user will no longer be electric type. Ooh, I don't think I want that, if I'm perfectly honest, because we kind of want to keep that electric type going. So double shock, we're not going to teach. That might be the wrong move. You guys might be screaming at the screen and typing your comment being like, you should have taken it, but I'm gonna back away from taking it for now. And obviously we have Memory Mushroom if we need it. We have another Seadra here, so we will discharge against the Seadra, and we do get through the trainer very easily. Obviously, the second Pokemon did do a lot of damage to our Pawmot, but we managed to just basically get through fairly easily with Pawmot, so can't complain too much there. All of our Pokemon are gaining a bunch of levels, and we did get something from our Lanoon there as well. We get a decent chunk of money from this particular trainer, so I think we are definitely going to spend a little bit of the money that we just won to get our Pawmot healed a fair chunk. But I'm going to take the Great Balls here. Oh, Dreadnought. Please don't knock out this Dreadnought. Oh, you lovely, lovely Pokemon, Pawmot. Let's throw a Great Ball. Okay, it broke out straight away. Ultra Ball it is. Please have good IVs. They're not bad IVs, to be fair. Like, the speed is the main thing. We have no water type moves, which sucks, but the HP is huge. So we are definitely taking the Dreadnought, and I think we take it over the Furfrou here. Even though Furfrou does have Retaliate, I think it's just going to be a better overall move for us. So we are going to go ahead and put the Dreadnought in. Pawmot is now at 63. And that is basically everything we get there. So I'm going to go ahead and Super Potion the Pawmot again. We could go ahead and potentially Super Potion Dreadnought a little bit here. And then we are going to take the Nugget to rake back a little bit of that money we've just gained. But this Azumarill is also going to be a potentially very nice Pokemon for us to get. Play Rough comes in. Will it stay in an Ultra Ball? Great Ball, it will. Okay, so it does add to our IVs on the Marill and stuff that we've already got. But I'm not going to add it to the team. Even though it's a fairly nice Pokemon, I'm not going to add it to the team. I think it's better to keep Dreadnought over taking the Azumarill there. I think. Do we want to learn Bouch here? The user lets out damaging Bouch at target. The user must eat a berry. We have plenty of berries to actually put onto our Toxicroak for this to work. So I think we get rid of Poison Jab and put Bouch in. And then we swap the berries that we've got on Lanoon onto, or some of them onto the Toxicroak. Do we want to teach Flatter? No. Stop trying to teach it. Yes. Dreadnought is now 48. It wants to learn Liquidation. The user slams into the target using a full blast of water. This may also the lower... Oh, yes. We will definitely take that, and I'm going to take it over Headbutt. So we at least now have a water-type move on our Dreadnought. Oh, Terror Orb. Oh my god. What do we give it to, though? What Pokemon do we give Terror Orb? Or is it just oh, it's just an item that we get regardless. Okay. I'm not going to switch out Pawmot, but I am going to switch into my Nidorina here. I can't necessarily go Discharge here, so I think the best option is going to be a Close Combat. And then we will also go in with a Toxic on the same side. And then we can go Close Combat on the other side, and we can also go in with a Toxic on that side as well. Okay, it literally just knocked it out, that's fine. Nidorina is now 58, Lanoon is 60, Dreadnought is now 49. So Dreadnought, if we find rare candies, Dreadnought is definitely the Pokemon to put it onto, and we do knock out the Gold Duck. Unfortunately, Pawmot does go down for us, which is not ideal. There is a Pokemon that I taught a electric type move. I'm almost certain of it. Tailwind. User whips up a turbulent wind that up speed stats for the user and its allies for 4 turns. Oh. I'm getting rid of Roost. I'm sorry. That might be wrong, but getting rid of Roost for Tailwind? Yes, please. I'm going to send out Lanoon, because that might be the Pokemon that has the electric type move. But we have Rookie D in our first egg that's hatching here. Next egg is... Okay, nothing great. Redicamp, the IVs on that isn't too bad either. I say nothing great. The way it kind of took a little longer to hatch, I was like, ooh, that could be, but unfortunately it wasn't anything incredible. We are going to go ahead and revive and super potion as per usual. So high horsepower. The user fiercely attacks a target using its entire body. It's a ground type move, and it can be taught to Dreadnought, which is probably what we are going to do. So Jaw Lock prevents switch outs. So that'll be good in fights against Ivy. Retaliation move that counters any physical attack inflicting double the damage. I think we get rid of Protect. And we go ahead and have high horsepower. But that is going to probably be the end of this video, guys. Obviously, the next fight we have here is against Wishy Washy. I do want to have a quick look. So we don't have any, I swear, oh, I know we put ice moves, now that I've seen it, I know we put ice moves on Lanoon, but I swear we put some sort of other move onto a different, that's a nice rare egg, a different Pokemon that could learn electric type moves, but it might have been Furthrow, which we got rid of. I can't remember. But regardless of that, guys, that is going to do it for this particular video here on Pokerogue. We are officially on the highest level that we have ever been on in a run on Pokerogue. And I'm actually very excited because we are getting very close to potentially reaching floor 100, which ever since I started playing this game, that was like my first main goal, was be like, just keep playing, get to floor 100 and then go from there. So we are on track for that goal. Hopefully we don't make too many misplays in the rest of this run. Obviously we did have one fight against a Magma grunt that got down to our last Pokemon and their last Pokemon, but thankfully we had already dealt a decent amount of damage to their last Pokemon to get the knockout and continue this particular run. But regardless of that, guys, I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. As always, there'll be links to my socials in the description down below, and I will also leave links to my TikTok as well as the other channels I have here on YouTube. If you want to go and check those out even, that'll be greatly appreciated. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.